Hi, Mystery Resurfaced here. Today I'm going to explain a romantic comedy film from 2018. Title When We First Met. How's the story goes on, watch ahead. On 1st of November 2017, a young girl named Avery attends an engagement party. She imparts her story to the guest about how she and her fiancé initially met at the Halloween party 3 years ago. While she shares her story, her friend Noah has a flashback of a Halloween party where Avery and Noah met each other. At the Halloween party on the 31st of October 2014, Noah incidentally spills his beverage on Avery. The two admires each other's Halloween outfits and sit down to talk. Avery lets him know that she has accompanied her roommate Carrie, who is living it up with a person close to the pool. Then Avery asks Noah whether the two of them can go out elsewhere. Noah takes her to a piano bar where he works as a musician and sings a song for Avery, who enjoys his song a lot. Afterwards, the two of them click photographs at the photo booth, where she discovers that Noah has never been in a relationship. The duel goes to Avery's home, where the two of them play a game, eat treat fresh in the kitchen while talking. Avery lets Noah know that she works for a foundation association as the two of them are going to come near one another. We are returned to the engagement, where Avery presents her fiancé Ethan, Noah as Avery's one-sided lover. While he watches them with crushing sadness. He drinks a lot at the party and afterward vomits in the toilet. Avery comes to him in the toilet, where Ethan likewise joins and gives Noah a multivitamin drink to recover the headache. Noah tells Avery that he is fine and it is just because that he has eaten a lot. Then Ethan tells Avery that his parents will be Skyping her soon. Later, Avery asked Carrie, who is a photographic artist, to drop Noah off at his home. However, he says that it will simply go by Uber. All at once, he inadvertently drops his phone in a bowl loaded up with juice, and now had to go with Carrie. He takes one of the Avery-Ethan plates from the party and lets Carrie know that he is covertly in love with Avery. Carrie becomes stunned at his solidarity, to watch Avery get drawn in with another person before him. Rather than his home, he forces Carrie to drop him at the piano bar, where he meets his friend Max. Carrie needs to leave, yet Noah miserable, and he convinces her to remain and pay attention to his story about how he and Avery met each other interestingly. Then, later, we are shown that as Avery draws nearer to Noah, she gives him an hug that breaks his expectation. Avery calls him her closest friend, and lets him know that she is delighted to meet an amicable person like him. Noah lets Carrie know that there was something uniquely great among Avery and him. However, he doesn't have any idea why his fate didn't incline toward him. He tells her that Avery met Ethan the very next day at the market to purchase Coke Crisp. It was totally supportive of Ethan, who has completed them. Carrie lets him know that he needs to move on because he is only an old buddy of Avery, and that doesn't seem that he should have been seen as a person who Avery will need to go out with. Carrie then leaves the piano bar. Noah says that he isn't attractive or handsome, which frustrates Max. So, he takes him to the photo booth at the bar there. He takes out his old pictures with Avery, which they clicked 3 years ago, and then drunkenly falls off with a wish to be returned to the day when he and Avery met for the first time. In the next scene, Noah awakens from a fantasy in his bed. He finds that today is Halloween. He goes to a shop to purchase blueberry Red Bull and discovers that it is 2014 and just Red Bull is available. He then takes a look at the date in the paper and observes that it is the 31st of October 2014. He takes the papers and rushes to meet Max at his office, who is a worker, and will be a vice president in 3 years. Later, Noah finds Carrie working on her photo shoot for a Halloween couple close to Max's office. Noah meets her and tells her that he knows her, since he met her the last evening at the piano bar while he was drunk. Carrie laughs at him and thinks that he is insane. Noah soon understands that he has gone back to 2014. And that implies that now he can make things go as indicated by him and win Avery over. He dresses calmly like Ethan and appears at the Halloween party this evening. There, he meets Avery and talks with her about things of her interest to impress her. Avery is astounded at how they share a lot in common, while the two of them are at Avery's home. Carrie comes there and recollects that Noah have irritated her that morning before Max's office. Avery suspects Noah with being a stalker, which is the reason he had a deep understanding of Avery's interest. The two of them come at him furiously, and Carrie assaults him with a potted tree. The next day, Noah awakens and feels that whatever happened was in his fantasy. So he message Avery and apologizes for getting drunk at her engagement yesterday. Avery message back and lets him know that she has changed her phone and doesn't recognize him. Nonetheless, Noah misunderstands the text and appears at her home, where he tracks down Ethan and understands that he has reached back to 2017 and it's Avery's engagement party. Suddenly, Avery and Carrie appear, and they recollected that Noah is the person who halted them 3 years ago. Noah somehow escapes the house and gets back to his place. He then goes to the photo booth at the piano bar and makes a second attempt to venture out back to 2014. This time, he gets Max's help, who gives him a few hints about how to impress a girl. He lets Noah know that young girls like discourteous and certain guys. He tells her that he shouldn't give attention to Avery when he meets her at the Halloween party. Noah laughs at Avery's Halloween costume and brings a container of beer for her. Avery gets irritated and goes outside where she pushes Noah into the pool. Noah requests help to get out, yet pulls her into the pool. The two of them draw near to one another, and later Noah awakens in bed with her in 2017. He is currently a bad guy, and Avery calls him to her home whenever she needs to lay down with him. Moments later, Ethan and Carrie come to Avery's home. Noah becomes envious, and he feels undermined by Ethan. He imagines that Ethan will win Avery over and he will again pass up on the opportunity of making Avery fall for him. So he also joins them and they go for a jog in the park where Noah falls on failing to jump over a bench. Carrie stays with him while Ethan and Avery continue running. Noah becomes irritated, and he tells Carrie that he needs to turn into the sort of fellow that Avery will need to be with. Carrie lets him know that Avery is searching for a steady person and can build a future with her. Noah says that he will do all that to become like Ethan and impress Avery. He tells her that he went to a business college so he can easily turn into the person that Avery needs to spend her life with. Then Noah goes to the photo booth once more and goes back to 2014. He finds a new line of work in Max's office and meets Avery at the Halloween party. The two of them chat for quite a while, and then he takes her to the piano bar. Avery discovers that he used to work there as a musician. However, now he's doing a better job that will make him a successful man. Avery inclines on his shoulder, and the two of them hold each other's hands energetically. In the next scene, Noah awakens in his office in 2017. And he observes that he is a fat, rich and effective man. He finds an invitation card on his table and discovers that today is his engagement. He is amazed to venture into his lavish house and acts weirdly with Avery. He observes that Carrie also lives with them. Avery lets him know that whenever he is away for business issues, Carrie comes to remain with her. Noah prepares for the office, and he discovers that he has his most loved car that he wished to purchase since his childhood. He is amazed to observe that his life is worked with in the most rich manner. He goes to his office, where his chief, alongside the entire staff, informs him regarding his promotion as a senior vice president there, and Chief from China talks with Noah in Chinese. Shockingly, Noah can also talk in Chinese later. Max comes into his office and lets him know that Noah has deceived him, since it was Max who persuaded his supervisor to hire Noah in that office. He lets Noah know that it was his fantasy to turn into the senior vice president, yet Noah grabbed his chance. Noah lets him know that they are friends and he will get a superior position for him as he is the senior vice president. Presently, Max lets him know that they were friends 3 years ago and not currently, because Noah has favored his job over his friendship since he began working in the office. Max leaves out of frustration and Noah sits in his office, being discouraged. His secretary comes into his office and reminds him of his meetings. Noah gains from his timetable that he will be very occupied for the next 3 months. Noah asks the secretary what will be the results, assuming that he goes home for the day. She lets him know that assuming he does that, he will be terminated from the job right away. Noah ends up being disturbed and shows up later than expected at his engagement party. He meets every one of the visitors and also Avery's parents. Then, he plays the piano and sings the song that he sang around evening time when he and Avery met. Interestingly, however, he fails to recall the notes. He then finds Avery with Ethan in the restroom, who is drunk and vomits in the toilet. He says that he isn't well since he has eaten a lot of taquitos at the party. Avery needs to bring him into the room for rest, yet Noah feels shaky, so he chooses to drop Ethan in his car. On their way, Ethan uncovers that he has taken Avery and Noah engagement plate from the party. He lets Noah know that he loves Avery, and he wishes that he could tell her prior. Noah discovers that Avery also loves Ethan, and she is intended to be with him only. Noah talks with Carrie, who lets him know that Avery thinks often about him profoundly, however it isn't love. Noah understands that he has demolished the existences of many people by making the situation worse for them. He also feels reinforced with Carrie through their discussions and chooses to venture out back to 2014 to make Ethan and Avery meet again. Subsequent to heading out back to 2014, he takes Ethan to the Halloween party, where he meets with Avery. He then meets Carrie, who is keen on him, and he observes that he is more just the same as her than Avery. Then, they go to the piano bar, where Noah discovers that Carrie likes jazz and Count Basie, and Avery has quite recently taken on Carrie's taste in music. Carrie also knows how to play piano, and she lets him know that she has won an award in an ability show for playing the piano. She lets him know that she didn't actually want to appear at the party, yet she came there to see her ex, who is also at the party. Ethan and Avery snap photographs in the photo booth and look extremely content. They also call Carrie and Noah to join. And then all four of them snap pictures together in the next scene. Noah awakens in 2017 and he observes that he is fixed up with Max. He discovers that Ethan and Avery got engaged last evening, and Carrie has begun dating her ex Phil. Noah ends up being upset and he goes to Carrie's home, who repels. After that, he goes to the photo booth to venture out back to 2014. Yet he sees the photo booth has been replaced with another one as he sits despondently. Avery appears with Ethan and lets Noah know that the photo booth which she got for him at his house is obviously superior to the upgraded one that is at the bar now. Noah gets eager to realize that he actually has the chance to turn back the clock. And when Carrie's heart, he finally understands that he first needs to become friends with Avery to meet Carrie. He goes to his home and sits in the photo booth to make a trip back to the Halloween party. In 2014, he befriends Avery and invests a decent time with her at her home. He completes her treat fresh and advises her to get it the next day so she will meet Ethan in the market. Then, Noah seeks after Carrie at their engagement party. He starts a discussion with Carrie, and the two at long last start their relationship. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.